Namaste everyone, thank you very much for coming. My name's Ben and welcome to our online yoga class this Wednesday afternoon. So make yourselves comfortable. You'll probably need a block, possibly a belt. So if you don't have those things, just make do with something similar to that. A towel or something for the belt, and maybe a blanket or a cushion for the block. So to begin with, you can either lie on your back or start seated. We're just going to check in with the breath and just let go of the day's cobwebs and just really settle in and get focused for our class. So sitting or lying comfortably. And just take a few moments just to observe the contact points of the body on the floor. Just making a mental note that you've landed on your mat. Just starting to watch the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Just watching the cool air enter in through the nostrils and watching the warm air exiting through the nostrils. Starting to deepen the breath. Take the breath all the way down into the abdomen, feel the abdomen expand, and just slowly feeling the breath rising all the way up through the rib cage, up into the collarbones, and then exhaling, letting all that oxygen and air out. And then inhaling again, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, and exhaling, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Deep breath in, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, and exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Just keep this breath going. You can shorten the breath or increase the breath if you wish. And now we're going to add a transcendental sound mantra to the breath. So this is to further focus the mind and purify the mind, preparing us for the rest of the class. So we're going to use the mantra Gauranga. So taking a deep breath in together, breathing in, saying Gauranga in your mind. And then as you exhale, let's all vibrate the sound Gauranga, focusing on the sound as we exhale. Gauranga. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling, saying the mantra in your mind. Last one. Okay, just returning to your normal breath rhythm. Just letting the sound Gauranga resonate in the mind. Okay, when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come into downward facing dog. So just in this first down dog, just cycle the heels out, being gentle with yourself. Keep the bottom up nice and high. Maybe you want to step onto your tippy toes, lifting the hips up nice and high. Dropping one hip down, one heel down, bending the other knee. And then roll over into plank. Just pausing in plank and then back up into down dog. Let's just do this 5 times just to warm up the shoulders. One more time. Might have been more than 5, but it is what it is. Okay, just taking a moment there in your downward facing dog, and then walking the feet up towards the hands. Big toes together, heels are slightly apart, spread the toes, ground the feet, bend the knees, and just let yourself drape over the thighs. Releasing the neck, releasing the head. And then dropping the bottom, sweeping the arms up in the chair. And then exhaling, just letting yourself go forwards. Inhale, come back up. We'll do this 5 times. Exhale, fold. Inhale up, dropping the bottom, reach out through the arms. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale. Exhale, fold. Just getting the blood moving a little bit. Hands to the shins, halfway lift, lengthen through the back of the neck. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, come back up to standing. Let the arms fall by the side of the body. Okay, make sure you're at the front of the mat. Again, spread the toes, lift up through your arches, and placing the hands just in a triangle shape just below the navel. And for about 5 breaths, I want you to imagine as you inhale, you're drawing the breath in through this triangle that you're making just below the navel. And then as you exhale, I want you to feel the exhale going all the way back down to that area. So inhale, we start from this area and we feel the breath expanding up through the body. And then as you exhale, you feel the breath retracting all the way back down to this area. This is called the Dantian in the Tao, or kind of like a Uddiyana Bandha kind of Mula Bandha thing in here. So it just helps that. So inhaling through, taking 5 deep breaths here on your own actually. If you're unsure what I'm talking about, just think of breathing in and out of this area. Okay, last breath. Okay, beginning our sun salutations. We're going to start off with some half sun salutes. Inhale, lifting the hands, reaching out through the fingers and the toes. Exhale, swan dive down. Hands to the shins, halfway lift, lengthening the body. And then exhale, release. Inhale, release all the way back up. And let the arms come down. Inhale, reaching the hands, keeping the jaw nice and soft. Exhale, floating forwards. Hands to the shins, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And release. Inhale, float up. And exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. Gentle back arch. Exhale, fold forwards. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, step the right foot back and just come into a long lunge. Keep the hands on the floor. Reach out through the back heel. Keep the spine nice and long. Bring your awareness to the spine, right from the tailbone all the way up to the base of the skull. And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. Just take a breath in your downward facing dog. Press the tops of your thigh bones up and back, lifting the buttocks as you do that. And then rock over into plank. And then come down into Chaturanga or into Cobra. Roll over the toes, up dog. Drop the tailbone, lift and broaden the chest. And downward facing dog. Step the right foot forwards. And we're just going to do that same little lunge. So press out through the back heel, press the front shin forwards. Breathing in and out through that dantian. And then stepping the back foot forwards. Hands to shins, halfway lift. And then exhale, release the spine forwards, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, release, come up. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Hands to shins, inhale, lift, lengthen the spine. Hands to floor, left foot back, same lunge. Take a few breaths here. Think long body, long spine. Don't let the chest collapse here. Keep the heart floating up in that rib cage cavity so you're feeling nice and light. Downward facing dog. Spread your fingers out as wide as you can and stretch the fingertips away from the hands. And then roll over into plank. Come down into Chaturanga or onto the floor. Cobra or upward facing dog. Drop the Drop the tailbone, lift and broaden the chest. Downward facing dog. And then step the left leg up in between the hands. And same little lunge there. Just trying to make the most of this lunge. Opening up through the front of that right hip. Breathing in and out. If you're focusing on the breath and also using that technique of breathing in and out just below the navel, what ends up happening is you start to become very aware of your alignment and your body in space and how much you should and shouldn't be pushing your body. So it's helping us to become just a natural teacher to ourselves, and which is especially important while we're online. Okay, stepping the back foot forwards. Hands to the shins, halfway lift and lengthen the back of the neck. And exhale, just letting yourself fold forwards. Inhale, back up. And release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Hands to the shins. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, right foot back. This time we're going to put the back knee down. Then lift the hands, drop the hips and lift the chest. So a little bit of a back arch. And then hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Take a moment in your downward facing dog. Stretching out through those fingertips, stretch out through the toes. And then right foot forward, plank. And then down to the ground, Chaturanga, upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Now we get to step the right foot forwards. Okay, back knee down, slowly reaching up. Okay, so we're just in that lunge again, dropping the tailbone, lifting the chest. And then hands to the floor, step up. Body's nice and light, hands to the shins, halfway lift. Strengthen the back, use the back muscles. And then release. Inhale, come up. And release. We're going to do the other side. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, left leg back. Back knee to the ground, sweep up, lunge. And exhale, hands to the floor, plank. Come down into Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, use your back muscles. Downward facing dog. Take a moment or two, maybe 3 breaths in your down dog. And then plank. And then Chaturanga. Up dog. Stand tall on the arms, reach the toes out and back. Downward facing dog. And step the left leg up. Back knee to the ground. Sweep it up. And hands to the floor. Stepping forwards. Hands to the shins. Halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale up. And release back to Tadasana. Inhale, lift up. Surya Namaskar A. Exhale, fold. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, stepping or hopping the feet back into plank. And then coming down into Chaturanga. Up dog. Press the backs of the feet into the ground. Legs are strong. Exhale. Back into our downward facing dog. Pinch the feet together and lift the right leg as high as you can, straight. And then bend the knee and turn the torso to the right side of your mat. Reach through the arms. 3-legged dog. And then when you're ready, we're going to step the right foot forwards and you're going to come up into warrior one. Stomp the mat into the floor with the feet and then reach up through the arms. Bend through the front knee. Keep the hips facing directly forwards and try not to keep the shoulders too much around the ears. Exhale, hands to the floor, plank, Chaturanga, up dog, and downward facing dog. Take a breath. Feel the whole body being nice and light and open. Feeling like there's someone pulling your hips up towards the sky. And then when you're ready, stepping both feet forwards, hands to the shins, halfway lift, exhale, fold. Inhale up. And release. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Hands to shins, inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to floor, step or hop back into plank, Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Okay, pinch the feet together. This time lift the left leg up as high as you can go with a straight leg, and then bend the knee and turn yourself to the left. Reach through the arms, tuck your tailbone slightly and restrain your front ribs. And then step the right foot forwards. Let that left foot forwards. That might have been a bit difficult. Bring the back foot to the ground. Sweep it up. Warrior one. Squash that mat into the ground with those feet. And then grow tall up out of your base. And exhale, hands to ground, stay strong. Chaturanga. Up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath or two in your downward facing dog. Spread the fingers. And then step the feet up to the hands or hop. And then hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Dropping the bottom, reach the hands up into prayer. Into warrior. Now into chair, sorry. And then bring the hands down into the chest. And then just revolving the right elbow over to the outside of the left knee into our revolved chair pose. Keep the hands around the heart level. Imagine you have a block between your upper thighs. Squeeze those upper thighs together. Lift the chest and twisting. And then forward fold in between sides. And then drop the bottom, come up into your chair, not your warrior, and then bring the hands back down to the center, left elbow to the outside of the left knee, the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Squeeze the hands together, twisting to the right hand side. Squeeze those upper thighs together, lift the chest forwards, turning. And then release forwards into our forward fold. Taking some nice deep breaths, deepening your groins, hollowing the abdomen a little, breathing into your kidneys, kidney area, feeling that area expand. And then inhale, slowly coming back up to standing. And float the hands down. Good, okay. Moving on. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, float down. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Hands to the floor, step back into Chaturanga. Come down. Roll over the toes, up dog. Downward facing dog. Take a moment or two in your downward facing dog. And then you're going to step your right foot in between the hands to turn the back heel to the ground, sweeping up. And you're going to lift your left hand up to the sky and then reach forwards over that front leg, keep the hips square with the ground, and place the hand on the shin or on a block and turning into our Revolved triangle pose. My least favorite pose. Reach the right hand up to the sky. Nice long spine. They say your least favorite poses are the ones you should do more often. Makes sense, doesn't it? Alright, come back down. We're just going to come into Chaturanga. Nice light body, come down. Up dog. And downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, left foot steps forwards. Turn the back heel to the ground. Come up into that nice long position with the legs. Reach the right hand up. Bend at the hips, reach forwards, block or hand to the shin, and then turn the torso to the left hand side. Okay, imagine you have again a block in between your upper thighs, and then once you have that engagement, then you can lift the chest forwards and then turning up and lifting the hand up. If having the hand is too much up in the sky, just feels terrible for you, just keep the hand on the hip, that's fine. This is one of those poses when you breathe in and out of the dantian, your pose actually starts to feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay, come back, Chaturanga. Up dog and downward facing dog. Take a moment or two in downward facing dog. And then step the right foot forwards, turn the back foot in, and this time we're going to come up into our Warrior Two position. So take a few moments in our Warrior Two, reaching out through the fingertips, and we're going to gaze over the right fingers. Make sure you have an even weight through both feet, and definitely make sure those heels are in line. There's a tendency for this front knee just to twist in. Just make sure it's over the ankle. Just taking a couple more breaths. And then turn the front palm up, and we're going to come into reverse warrior. So gaze towards your back foot, reach that top hand back, and just opening up through, creating space through that right hand side. And then exhale, straightening the front leg. You may need to adjust your stance. Reaching forwards and coming into triangle pose. So you can place the hand on the shin, onto a block, or onto the floor, whichever one feels comfortable to you. This time reaching the hand up to the left hand up to the sky. Both legs are straight. Breathing. Breathing in and out of that dantian. Just relax the jaw, relax the face. And then when you're ready, bring the hand down and you can come into side angle pose. So you can either have the right hand onto the knee or the block or the floor on the outside of the leg. So reach that left hand over, spike down through the back foot, open the chest up to the side, breathing. Really working, opening up through that whole side body there. Again, breathing in and out through the dantian. And release that hand down. And now this time the right hand is going to come in front of the right foot, and I'm going to come up into Ardha Chandrasana, Halfmoon Pose. So standing tall on the right leg and straightening through the left. If you're breathing in through that dantian, you'll feel a sense of stability come into the pose. If you like, you can grab a hold of the top foot and just add a little bit of a hip opener to the pose as well. But only if you're comfortable to do that. Remember, you want to do everything at your own level. And then bring that top foot down. Hands come to the floor, squaring yourself up. Bring the back knee to the ground. And just pause there for a moment. Just take a moment just to feel the contact points with the floor. Okay, we're going to come into either half splits or the full splits. So what you're going to do, if you're going to do in the half splits, you're just lifting up on the heel, straightening the leg here, okay? If you want to try the Hanumanasana, we're going to use unless you're really flexible and just go down, then go down, but otherwise we can use a block underneath our pelvis. So just reach this right foot out in front of us and then sit on the block. Now many of us are really tight, so you may need the high part of the block underneath your perineum there, and that's okay. So it depends which one you want to go for. The key in this pose is to really try and keep the hips nice and square. And keep the breath nice and steady. Okay, coming out. And just everyone come up into downward facing dog. And whatever way you can. Just take a moment in your downward facing dog. Rock the hips out a little bit if you need to. And then step the left leg up in between the hands. We're just going to do the opposite side now. So warrior two on the other side. Nice strong legs, reaching out through the hands. Breathing. Lengthening through the sides of your abdomen. Okay, we're going to come into reverse warrior. Reach the left hand over, gaze towards the back foot, slide the right hand down the back leg. Bending a little bit more through that left knee. Just feeling the pose as you breathe. And then straightening the front leg, adjusting the stance. As before we go down into triangle, I want you to feel like your feet are in concrete buckets, of concrete, and you want to try and jump out of that grounded position, and that will engage your bundas, and then reach forward, swing the hips to the back of the mat, hands to the shin, the block or the floor. So reaching the right hand up, gazing towards the top hand only if it's comfortable, otherwise just wherever the neck is comfortable. Breathing. And then side angle pose. Readjust the back foot, mine needs to go back. And then reach the right hand over. Nice strong pose. Reach out through the fingertips, gaze towards the top hand, the palm of the hand if you can. And if you want to place the hand on the ground, you can place the hand on the ground, the left hand that is. If the left hand is on the ground, push the leg and the left arm into each other. And then release the top hand, Halfmoon Pose, left hand in front of the left foot, come up into Halfmoon, standing nice and strong on that left leg. It's like almost like you're a starfish reaching out into the tips of your limbs. And if you want to hold the top foot, come into a bit of a bow position. And then bringing the back foot down, and again just bring the hands to the ground, bring the back knee to the ground, and just take a moment there to feel the ground underneath the body. And when you're ready, reach that front foot forwards, and either coming into the half splits or coming into the full splits, assisted or not assisted with the block. Don't push it, just using your intelligence and common sense on how far you feel like you can go. And then downward facing dog. Take a moment or two in your down dog, pressing the tops of the thigh bones up and back. And then this time we're going to step forwards again into Warrior One with the right foot. Come up into Warrior One. Strong legs, strong arms, and then lay the hands behind us, torso comes down, and then a little bit of a back arch, and we're going to come into Warrior Three. So lifting the back foot long through the back of the neck. So again, squeeze the tops of the thighs together, and then reach the heart forwards. If you like, you can place the hands in prayer next to you, in front of your chest, where you can reach the hands out in front of you. And then back into warrior one. And then hands to hips, straightening the front leg, maybe shortening the stance a little. Create space by inhaling, lifting, lengthening the front of the body. And then exhale, folding down. Hands can come either side of the front foot. Wind your left hip to the ground. Make sure the waist is level with the ground. And then release the spine over the leg. You may need to sort of wind your left kidneys over towards that right leg a little bit. Release the neck, release the head. And then inhale, coming up, warrior one, and then exhale, hands to the floor, Chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. Okay, stepping the left foot up this time. Coming into warrior one. And then laying the torso down, a little bit of a back arch, strong back muscles. Stand on the front leg, lift the back leg. So either staying like this, squeezing the tops of those thigh bones together, lifting the heart forwards, placing the hands either underneath the heart, or reaching them out in front of you. Using your dantian for this one. And then back foot down, warrior one. And then hands to the hips, shorten the stance. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold forwards. Hands to the floor and just wind that right hip down and just releasing over that front leg. Nice, deep, relaxed breaths. And hands to the floor. Step back into Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Take a moment or two in your downward facing dog. And then walking the feet back to the feet. And you're just going to come to sit on your heels. And what you're going to do now is you're going to place the arms in between your knees. It's okay if the heels are up. And actually we want the big toes together if we can. So the arms come on the inside and then we just cross the hands over and we just grab the heels for Malasana. So just taking a couple of breaths there. Bring your awareness down to that dantian as you're breathing in and out through that area because you're going to need it in the next pose. Okay, bring the hands out in front of you. Now the next pose we're going to do crane or bakasana. So this has a potential of face planting. So if you have a couch cushion or something that you can put in front of you for protection, that would be really handy. So the easiest way for this one to be done for a beginner is to place the knees on the outside of the upper arms or the elbows, and you can just practice doing one foot up at a time. So you can either do that, or you can try doing both. Or the full position is when you have the knees up into the armpits or on the back of the arms. So you really want to engage that dantian, lifting up. And you want to try and straighten the arms as much as you can. Breathing. And then come down and just coming back into a squat, placing the elbows on the inside. And just closing your eyes for a moment and just feeling the effects of the crane pose. And then when you're ready, you're going to come into Baddha Konasana. So holding the front of the toes and just rolling the sit bones as close to the heels as you can. And instead of pushing the knees down, let the knees reach out to the sides. Lift the chest, spread the collarbones. Now, if you're one of those lucky people that have very open hips and you feel very comfortable and maybe your knees are on the ground, then you can also bend forwards as well, if you wish. And then bring the knees back up, reach the legs out in front of you into Dandasana. Placing the hands next to the hips, standing tall on the arms. And then bend the knees up. Left foot on the outside of the right hip and right foot on the outside of the left knee, sitting up nice and tall. Reach the left hand up to the sky, twisting over to the right side and hug the knee into the chest, or place the elbow onto the outside of the knee. So you inhale, lengthening the spine, twisting. Use your abdominal muscles to twist. And then come back to center, swap it over. Reaching out through the top hand, hooking the elbow or bringing it in the knee into the chest. Your back hand is pressing the floor behind you, and the contact points with the floor, the legs, the feet pressing into the ground, creating a little bit of a lift through the spine. Lengthen out through the right side of the spine and open your left shoulder, the front of your left shoulder. Soften the jaw, soften the expression on the face, just breathe. And then just everyone is coming back to center and coming down onto your back, placing the feet next to the buttocks, Hands next to the body, fingertips to the sky, pressing the feet into the floor, rolling up the spine into a bridge. Clasp the hands behind the body. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, press those upper arms, forearms, wrists and fists into the ground and breathing into the chest. Keep the hips nice and high. And then undo the arms, one vertebra at a time, just releasing back down to the ground. And bring the knees into the chest. A little bit of a rock from side to side. Okay, bring the knees together, heels together, and take the legs over to the left hand side. Reach the right hand out to the right. Supine twist. Just letting the weight of gravity just weigh your right shoulder down into the ground. Feel the knees becoming heavy under gravity. Feeling your tailbone reaching away from you down towards your heels. And remember, every time we exhale, we want to just feel a softening and relaxing. And then come back to center. And just do the same thing on the other side. Breathing deeply into the abdomen, making sure the exhale is surrendered. No tension left in that exhale. Just everything, as you exhale, you just let everything go. Bring the knees back into the chest. And then we're going to come up into a half shoulder stand or some sort of inversion. So if it's that time of the month for you, probably just stay down in Shavasana and put your legs up a wall, up to you. So a couple of easy options here for the inversion is, first one's the block. So we have three levels to the block. So we have the first, second and third. Whichever one you do, particularly the highest level, we want to stabilize the block with the hands. We lift the chest up nice and high, and then we straighten the legs up towards the sky, reaching out through the heels. And we stay up here as long as we are comfortable. Try not to turn your head as you're in the inversions. So you can do it like that. If you know full shoulder stand, feel free to come into it. Otherwise, if you're going to do half shoulder stand, we just bring the knees up towards the chest and we just flick up. Use our hands as a seat, so we bend at the wrist, and then we tilt our hips back into the hands and again lift the chest, lift the hands. Okay, so whichever one you feel like doing is up to you. And then bringing, actually you stay up there for a little bit. I'm just going to change onto the block. Make sure you come down whenever you're uncomfortable. Okay, just bringing it to come down, just roll down gently. Put the block to the side if you're using a block. Take a moment just with your hands just on the front of your hips or your ribs, and just to feel the effects of the inversion. And then when you're ready, just coming up to a seated position, crossing the right shin in front of the left shin. And we're just going to come forwards into a forward fold, and you can use a block if you like, otherwise no need to use a block. And we're going to just rest the head on the block, or you can just let the head and the neck release towards the floor. If you're using a block, just let the head release into it unrepentantly. Just letting that stodgy brain mass just fall to the front of the skull. Just letting that relaxation nervous system kick in, the parasympathetic nervous system. And then when you're ready, just slowly coming up and just swap the legs around, so left shin in front of right shin. Just creating a little bit of space, so we lift up first and then we walk the hands forwards, and just placing either just releasing the head towards the ground, close the eyes, or you can place the head on a block. Breath is deep. Shoulders relaxed, jaw is soft. And then walking the hands back up. Placing the thumb and index finger together. Place the arms on the knees, reaching out through the fingers. If you find it hard to sit on a block. I'll encourage a little bit of length through the back of the neck, close the eyes. And we're going to take 10 nice deep breaths here, and then we're going to go into Shavasana. If you want to stay here for a little bit longer in seated meditation, you're welcome. And I'm going to let you guide yourself with the breath. So just remember that deep breath in and breath out. You can breathe in and out through the dantian if that's helpful. 10 breaths. Just coming down into Shavasana when you're ready. Okay, if you're in Shavasana, just letting the palms be face up, extending the feet towards the corners of your mat. And just letting the breath go, letting the abdomen to be soft. Jaw is released and soft. And your whole body is actually completely relaxed now. It's nice to be on the ground. It's nice to be finished the practice. I'm feeling much better than the beginning of the class. So just spend the next 5 minutes or so just resting in the present moment, just observing. Okay, when you're ready, you can start to wake your body up. Just wriggling the fingers and toes. Just a little bit of a rock from the head, side to side. And just bring the knees up into your chest. And rolling out to your right side into the recovery position. And then just coming up into a seated position. Okay, so we'll finish off with a little bit of Kirtan meditation. So we're going to use the mantra Om Hari Om. So I'll call out the mantra and then you guys repeat it back. But I'm yet to work out the best way to do this. So I think I'm going to call it back with you. So I'm going to be chanting through the whole time. But we'll go through one round and you guys listen first and then you call it back after that. If you want to just listen, then you can just listen as well. But calling it out, these mantras, is also, there's an added benefit. Closing your eyes, meditating on these beautiful transcendental sounds. Hari Om. Your turn. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Hope you're feeling a little bit better from when you first landed on the mat this afternoon, and you're ready to have a nice sleep tonight and ready to start the day tomorrow. So hope you're all well. Hope to see you all soon.